Here we go.
No Nation. Welcome into another episode of the Renegae Rundown. As always, my lovely co-host, Jen Santee, aka at Jen Santee 1890. You can find her on X, and also the amazing Deshawn Adams 18. You can find him as well right there by his screen name at Deshawn Adams 18 on X, and myself at Renegade Report with the one. Unfortunately, I couldn't get just Renegade Report. But we got a packed show with you guys. We had a huge weekend recruiting news on campus, elsewhere with certain targets committing, new offers going out, all kind of projects in the works, all kind of fun stuff there. The baseball team advances. You have a 4-team ACC, 4-team SEC baseball finals. So tons of fun stuff to get into. But before we get into that, one thing to address before we move forward. Jim was sick. I was down for the count. Just asked Deshawn, just told him, hey, man, we're probably not going to be able to do it. We ended up doing a show Sunday. But the last time we were here on Friday, guys, we like to have a lot of fun. We pick at each other. We don't always agree. We go back and forth sometimes like that. But on Friday's show, I took it a step far. I was just kind of cruel, just being an ass. Wasn't, whatever. I was aggravated with the show, whatever was going on my end. Kind of took it out on Jen a little bit, disrespected her. And I just wanted to apologize for that publicly because it happened in public and I was just kind of an ass and didn't ever relent, So I just wanted to apologize for that. We argue like brother and sister. Anybody that talks any kind of shit to Jen outside of jokes about football, anything, chats, sending direct messages, whatever, you got a problem, you can take it up with me or anybody else. We'd like to see if you show your face and stuff like that. But as far as myself being an ass, my apologies to Jen, and we're going to move forward and have fun like we always do after that.
All right. No worries. You're good. You know that.
Boom. So enough is said on that. On to the SEC, ACC. I wanted to start off with this stat line. We're going to give credit to the person, College Football Kings, because we're always kind of talking about it on here, the kind of myths of how, oh my gosh, the SEC is just on a complete and different par than the rest of the country. They got to get 10 teams in. And I'm always saying, okay, what if you want to argue they're the best conference? Okay, maybe you're the best conference. But the idea that the difference in the 5th team and the 8th team in 2 different conferences is giant and the ACC can't compete and all these different things, like a Florida State shouldn't have been in, even though they're undefeated in their conference. So here's just a look at the 3 main sports thus far for the ACC. 5 teams hosted baseball regional, tied for the most with the SEC. As we just found out, 5 advanced to the super regionals. Of those 5, 4 to the College World Series. Same number, tied for the most with the SEC. When it comes to basketball, 4 teams made the Sweet 16 from the ACC, the most. 3 teams in the Elite 8, the most. 1 team in the Final Four, the most. It was 1 from each conference. Didn't get the national championship, but you get the picture. On to football. 1 undefeated college football team that was robbed of a college football appearance, who beat 2 SEC teams, both by multiple possessions. 7-5 head-to-head record with the SEC. 4-3 record head-to-head with the Big Ten. And we're supposed to believe that the ACC is some kind of second tier to the Power 2 super conferences on the field in college football. So I'm not sure if you've seen that post, but I thought that was pretty damn good by, again, that's at College Football Kings. But yeah, with the baseball, I guess we were going to do that last, but we can start with that before we get into what everybody really wants to hear, the recruiting. Did you guys, Jen, did you catch the game Saturday? Was that like the best fucking baseball game you ever seen in your entire life or what?
It was. I loved it. Yeah. I mean, you know how I feel about college baseball. I love it. It's probably, God, I mean, I love me some basketball too, but I don't know. I've always felt a little special spot for college baseball as opposed to basketball. Even though I live in Memphis, I know this sounds ridiculous. So I'm going to preface that. It is. It's the bat sound. So I've gone over it a million times, but yes, I would love to have, Florida State win a baseball championship. It would almost make my lifetime. Like I would be so excited.
For this to be the year would be so fitting. Like, second year Link Jarrett, nobody's expects a ton. You just won 23 games the year before. I was literally walking a circle around the couch and just walk in a circle. It was like there was a trail by the time I was done. Like from the 8th inning on, it was just pure suspense. So can't wait if we could knock off Tennessee and their ignorant fan base and everything we've been dealing with the past couple of days. That would be hilarious. Did anything stick out to you in the ball game before we move on to Cruton?
Yeah, just the clutch gene showed up for the boys. Pitching was a little shaky, just a little bit here and there, but as I had set off, as I set off air though, it was clutch on both sides because UConn, that batter hit a home run in the clutch to get them back in the game, and then Mr. Tibbs just set it off, and that was it. And no Sunday goes, which is all I can say is do it for 11.
Man.
Yeah.
Did you ever hit that ball a mile?
The only other thing I wanted to say is that shout out to UConn's coach, man.
Yeah,
he gave
classy.
Florida State so much props.
Yeah.
He gave the animals props. He gave the fan, like all the things. So it was real classy. I loved it. You know, I may have given a certain Connecticut sports writer a hard time for something he said that went a little viral, and I don't apologize. I said it with my chest. Maybe don't whine when you're down 24 in baseball. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah, he was super gracious. There's no doubt. He had complimentary to things to say after the butt whooping, and then again after the kind of clinching loss there, amazing things to say. They took Florida State's baseball team, Link Jarrett, the boys, they took UConn's best shot. They took the best shot, and they were still able to come home with the victory. I was screaming at my TV when Oxford came in, but he came in a jam, gave up a couple runs, and I'm like, how long's a leash this guy's got? You can't throw a strike. I was freaking out. But then he goes and gets like the next 6 outs or something like that. And the rest is history. So congrats to FSU baseball. And we'll be watching you when you take on Tennessee for sure. It's conference cheering, all that shit goes out of the window. All I care about is Florida State at this point. But it is funny to see, to prove the point, 11 SEC teams had to get in. Only 8 ACC teams, even though when you've seen the cross-conference play, you've seen a Florida get just destroyed by Florida State in all 3 games. But they get in as a 500 ball club. So there's a possibility for a rematch. I hope that doesn't happen. But it would be pretty wild to get to play them a 4th and a 5th and possibly a 6th time.
If we get to play Florida again, I mean, that's a win. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
On paper, it looks like a whooping. I mean, we destroyed them every game we played them, all 3 this year. So yeah, that would be a lot of teams. Think about it. You've played Florida plus, all 3 of the other ACC teams. If you've played at least 5 of the other 7 teams, and I'm not sure, I haven't followed close enough to know if we've played either of the other 2 out of conference, but I would guess not. LS Momo says, let's worry about Tennessee first. Yeah, that's right. Can't wait. Hopefully they kick Tennessee's ass, and we'll be pulling for you guys for sure. But
I mean, my Twitter is going to take a hit if they don't. I can tell you that right now. My Twitter will take a big hit if they don't, and I don't care. Bring it on, because it has taken hits before, and I'm going to stand by everything I said because I was talking about football, not baseball. But that's fine. They will never let that go.
Well, I'll be right there with you, so it'll be like collateral damage, so it'll be all right. I'll give you some moral support there on the way down, but hopefully it's a moot point and the number 8 team takes down the number 1 team. But on to recruiting again, June 21st.
One more thing I will say is if any number 8 team or 1C team will lose to an 8, it's going to be the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, because that's what they do in the men's basketball tournament and baseball tournaments and on the football field. So again, if you're overranked at Tennessee, you're the Miami Hurricanes. You're probably going to lose to an 8 seed. Just saying.
All right. Are we ready to move on to recruiting now?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All righty. So, let's see here.
Sorry, I threw you off.
Go ahead. Who's your first guy? Who is the first guy, the biggest guy of the weekend for you, Deshawn?
Well, the interesting person is, of course, out of your neck of the woods, LaDarian Clarity.
I would have to take my guy right
No, you got it. No, you got it.
No, I'm just kidding. We can spend 5 minutes on my guy.
we can come to him, but what's his name? Zion Grady. That's one name that's interesting. Defensive end. He posed with the pictures in the turquoise uniforms, which the more you see them, the more they grow on you. A lot of people don't like them, but when you add that white helmet and it pops. And that's a nice color. I would like to see them wear those this year. But Zion Grady, get into him. I don't have any film on him, but he's interesting. I think he's like 6'4", 235. He's out of Alabama. So I already know off the bat, that's going to be a challenge to get him out of the state, because it's just something about those kids in that state. You have to be a magical recruiter to get those kids out of there, especially when they are highly ranked. And I'm not saying we can't. I hope the viewers don't think I'm being negative, because I'm not. I'm just saying it's going to be a challenge. It will be a challenge, because Alabama obviously hasn't turned up the heat yet, and Auburn hasn't either. So that's what it's a wait and see. But I know we're just to be in it, and we're in it, and we're legitimately in it is where I'm sold. So I look at it as a good positive. That's the first name I can throw out there. What about you?
Yeah, Zion, man. I mean, he's one of those names that it's like people have been rolling their eyes at. Even myself to the beginning of it, for certain stretches, he's one of the top guys out there. Florida State offered him super early, but he's one of the guys that got on campus this weekend. To me, that really was the first guy that popped in my head. Like, oh shit, we really got a chance with Zion. And it seems like as guys start to commit more and more around the country, that it starts to settle in, and we'll get into that. Some guys that have committed elsewhere, but no, I'm glad you brought him up. Alabama, Georgia, it's the usual suspects. Auburn, anytime somebody's in Enterprise, Alabama, like you said, it is really hard. Anybody from Alabama to just be like, oh, he's in there, we're locked up, it's done. But I do like those turquoise. I think they're calling it the N7 uniforms. I don't know. They'll probably wear it one time a year if I had to guess. But if I had to guess, this isn't, any guaranteed fact, but it sure looks like some combination of that turquoise, maybe the quote unquote silent uniform of the year, as we see the first kind of visit weekend. And that's what everybody was wanting to wear, was some version of those turquoise uniforms. So did y'all see, did he get a photo shoot with the turquoise or not?
Yes,
that'd be a pretty good indicator.
Yeah, he did. He got a shirt. He got a shot with the turquoise. He wasn't the only one, but he was one of the ones that had the turquoise on turquoise.
Is Jen not a fan? What do you think? You don't like the turquoise?
I think they're fire. I love them.
Oh, you do? Okay. I thought you was making a face like you didn't like it.
No. And I was a fan of them, like, for the basketball ones too.
Mhm.
Like, I think they look so cool. I actually own a basketball jersey top.
Oh, you already bought one?
I bought one.
Okay, we got to see that. You got to wear that on the show one time. I'm jealous.
I mean, my issue is I've got to find it. I've been looking for it for like a month. I bought it. God, when did they come out with those for sale? Because I feel like I've had it for a while, and then people said it was ugly, and I was like, oh, like, I guess I'll put it up, and now I don't have it.
Well, if you ever do find it, rock that bad boy, because I definitely
worry.
think it's cool. R. Wilmer beats us to the punch. I guess we can go ahead and hit one of the recruits that moved on from us rather than one that climbed the board. Who is the O-line who committed to Oregon? So we've been talking about Zaire Addison quite a bit. I actually said on Friday that I wasn't really convinced. Just one of these guys who it seems like everywhere he went, it was like, okay, this is my new favorite place. Like, he really was getting wined and dined. And when it gets to certain situations like that, hasn't worked out for FSU in the past. Even a guy like KJ Bolden, who you thought it had locked in, it still didn't work out. Different guys in the past. So I just was not a big believer that he was going to end up in Florida State, though there was some good grace there. There were some people who was thinking we had a shot. He goes ahead and commits to Oregon. If I had to put my money on it, I would bet that he doesn't end up committing to Oregon. How do you guys feel about Zaire?
Do you mean sticking with Oregon, or because he already committed to Oregon?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, do you mean sticking? I guess. I don't think he will. I think he'll end up at Georgia.
Yeah, I don't know if Georgia's the place, but I'm with you, Jen. That was my kind of feeling. I don't know if it's Georgia, but I feel like I just don't see him staying at Oregon before it's over.
Yeah, I could see a late flip. Depending on if Georgia turns up the heat. Who else is in his recruiting? When Bama was another one of the teams. Yeah, I
Dude,
think
he's in it with everybody.
Ohio State.
Everybody.
I mean,
I'm not sure what is. He dropped the top 8, but it's like Ohio State, Florida State, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon. It's one of those.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Kirby and you know, I'm guessing the new Kalen DeBoer, you know, I don't know if he follows the same philosophy, but I think they enjoy doing late flips with these big time players. I think they enjoy it. I think it brings the headlines and they're smart to do it. I think they're smart to do it. So if you ask me, I feel like, yeah, he's going to flip. And I mean, I would lean Georgia for me. I mean, obviously Alabama could turn it up, but if you're picking in between Kirby Smart or Kalen DeBoer, I mean, you go Kirby Smart all day, every day, right? And that's, you know, that's just what I would say, but obviously I could be wrong.
Yeah, if you don't go to Florida State, whatever, pick DeBoer. Maybe it won't work out for you. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. We'll see what happens. But as far as back to the Florida State people, somebody that moved up the board, Ladarion Clarity, you mentioned him a minute ago. I wasn't saying you had to switch off of him. I was just excited to talk about it because, like we were saying in productions, I was like begging Jen. I was like, Jen, everybody that you know, if you have a coach's number, send him. Talk with this person. Hey, Chris, tell this person, this guy. I'm telling you, this guy at Pensacola is going to be that guy. So, sure enough, he got the offer a couple weeks ago. Finally, comes for an official visit and riding around with coach and everything else. In the what has he got, a Beamer?
Yeah, I believe that is. I have the video of it. It's pretty long, so I don't know how much of that you would want to show.
I'm down to show it. This is our guy again, Ladarion Clarity out of Pensacola, Florida, 6-foot safety. Offered him slowly but surely moving up the board. He wasn't near the top of the board. He was one of those guys who might, is it committable? Is it not committable? Well, yeah. Here's a guy that they're looking to bring in soon for this class for sure. All
right. So I go ahead and hit play and I'll let it roll.
Behind the scenes of the official visit. You've got it muted, bud.
You can hear it?
No.
Can't hear it? Okay, I'll pause. Hold on. You can't hear it? I have the volume up. How's your volume? So check here.
I don't know. It should play. Try it one more time. If it don't, I guess we'll just give up on it because it should play.
Okay.
Yeah, just let them watch, I guess. Okay. Sorry, guys. The audio is not working for some reason, but but you can see there the official visit. Checking out highlights. Who's that? Ron Dugans? Yes, sir. Went with the garnet and whites, planting the screw.
The spear. And you notice he rocked Jameis Winston's Tampa jersey too.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did rock a Bucks jersey. That was pretty good.
I do have one of those that I know exactly where that one is. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's going to be interesting to see because he's very versatile to see what side of the ball he actually chooses. Does he play defense or does he play offense? Because he can do both.
It's a Maybach, Chris lets us know. I knew I had that wrong. But yeah, I don't think, is this the same video?
Yes. Here it is. It's coming up.
That's why I said it's a bit long. I don't understand. Maybe if I drop it out and bring it back. I don't understand why.
I'll pause it. There you go. You can drop it and bring it back. And we'll see. Okay. Right. Can you hear it now?
Nope. I guess we should have done this in production. We'll just stop talking about it. It is what it is. No audio, but pretty cool video. We can move on from the video.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, guys. We'll figure it out. But yeah, no, Clarity is a beast at safety, and he'll be a big ad. If I had to bet all my money and everything I own, I think he'll end up being a Nole before it is all said and done. Riding around with Mike Norvell. When you see he's got somebody riding around in the Maybach truck, it's like that's like guaranteed he's all in for him for sure. DBU shit, as they say. But
locked
On to the
down.
next. On to the next. Who's the next guy? Osman Chroma was somebody you brought up in the beginning, and somebody, another guy, not to the level of Zaire Addison, but I just been wondering the past couple months, how high are they on him? We're talking to a lot of running backs that are really high on Byron Lewis. There's been a lot of hype there, but sure enough, get him in this weekend. He shows up for the official visit. Some people were, is he going to show up? Is he not? Seems like that visit went really, really, really well this weekend. Did you get the same impression, guys?
Yeah, I did. I got the impression that some of the work that was needed to kind of gain that ground, we picked up some good ground there. And also with the commitment that Georgia got recently at running back with the running back out of Valdosta, it could help us in that recruitment and gaining his commitment early on. But it's still keep an eye out for it, because I don't think Georgia's going to necessarily back off because they got a commitment from Robinson. Todd Robinson is the running back I was referring to out of Valdosta.
What was his name again?
Todd Robinson.
Todd Robinson.
Yeah, out of Valdosta High.
Hell yeah! I haven't even heard that name, so you got me on that one. Was he here this weekend?
No, he canceled his visit. He had an upcoming visit, I believe, for the 21st. I believe so, and he committed to Georgia recently.
That's right. That's the guy that committed to Georgia. Therefore, that's why maybe you think that's the reason that Osman Chroma is all of a sudden back up high on the board.
It's one of the names that we got a good chance. It can only help us with Chroma's recruitment, is what I'm saying.
Facts. I totally agree. That's kind of like the main point that I want to get across here when we talk about all the different guys. There's going to be guys that Florida State loses out on, or whatever, commit somewhere else like a Zaire. But all that does is it narrows the board. Now we know this, and now that team has their tackle. Georgia's not going to take every running back off the board. Florida State can't take everybody running back on the board. Everybody's recruiting 4, 5, 6 guys, and it starts getting narrowed down. The MythBusters part of the title that I put today. If you listen to certain people in the fan base, I won't mention names, certain people from other fan bases, they act like the sky's falling. I told you it was always going to come. Florida State's commitments are not going to come at the beginning of June. That's not when we get all. It's going to be into the first and second week of July. Maybe that weekend, 23rd, we get a couple. But just like last year, we are going to see a big time explosion at the beginning of July. It's just how Florida State runs it. That's how they do it. They're aiming for that final official visit. So while a lot of these schools have other guys on official visits, Florida State has everybody and their brother coming in for official the 21st through the 23rd. And these guys that you're seeing earlier in the month, you're seeing them make hay and really make big time progress. Maybe you got to get a guy on an official this weekend and talk him into coming back. So beautiful things, beautiful things. He is the number one running back wanted by FSU in regards to Osman Chroma, according to Spear Addicts Media. And I don't doubt that one bit whatsoever. So with him at the top of the board, and Todd Robinson, that's it, right? Todd Robinson.
Yeah, his name is Todd Robinson
at Georgia.
Who just recently committed out of Valdosta.
Definitely one to keep an eye on. Any guy, opening it up to you guys. Jen, Deshawn, is there somebody specific, anything I haven't mentioned from this weekend on the recruiting side that y'all haven't brought to the table quite yet?
Actually, I don't have nobody at the table, but I do have some film on Chroma for those who would want to see. If you want to bring it up to the stage.
Oh, yeah. Let me know before next time, and we do it while we're talking about them.
Okay.
Let's see here. Boom. Yeah, the number one recruit on FSU's board, according to our good friend Spear Addicts Media, Osman Chroma. Yeah, he's a freak, dude. Who does he remind you of on tape?
I'm
gonna have to fix that. My little the backdrop
I
way
see.
of the freaking tape.
Yeah, we'll fix it. Don't worry about it. I don't know. You know what?
Let us know in the chat who you think Chroma runs like, because he's a damn good runner.
If I had to say, just off of his running style, the way he runs a little upright is a little similar to, ironically, James Wilder a little bit, because he kind of runs upright.
I was either going to go Carlos Williams or James Wilder is where I was going to go, but
all one cut oneers. That run up tight. So that's a very good comparison. He's not the size of those two guys. Not the freak, 6'2", 230 pounds or whatever it was that those guys
it's
were.
those power runs. It's the way, it's
one
the way
cut
he's
runner too.
Yeah,
he's a physical runner. He's a guy he's your guy. He's got some shiftiness, but he's the kind of guy that's going to run between the tackles, tough yards kind of back. Because, in Norvell's offense, they use the running back, tailback. So that tailback role usually is more versatile, can catch, will be flanked out, sort of how they used Toafili. He used Tony Pollard that way some.
Ooh,
Gibson.
Boy, that was nasty.
Yeah. But this guy's a straight downhill runner with some speed and a little burst.
He can do it all in a phone booth.
Yeah, he can do it all.
Holy shit. He's got some great balance, man. For sure. Yeah.
But I'm gonna take this down.
Yeah, Chris brought up a good one. He asked if we had spoken on tight end Chase Lofton.
We'll get into it.
And he is a he is an absolute freak too. He showed up. When did he get here? Friday?
Yes, I believe it was Friday.
He got here Friday or Saturday morning, whichever one it was. That he was here for multiple days. For an official visit, and boy, howdy, did he have a good time. I mean, that was another official visit that was just off the chain. I mean, they hit that one out of the ballpark.
I got another one for you. I got that film of him now. If you ready, just bring it up and we ready to roll.
All righty.
Okay.
Yes, feel free. Like, you don't gotta just let me know. It ain't nothing to
Now they kind of flex him out, I see here. So he's versatile out of Omaha, Nebraska. Versatile, meaning he can play, he can flex out, and it means he's in line. So he's probably more your pass catching tight end.
Facts.
Okay.
Damn, he blocked the hell out of somebody right there. Pancake blocks too. And this is another one that I was just not on his. He was completely missed my radar until this weekend. But
because you hear where they're from, George, and then you're like, well,
no wonder.
Typically hear Omaha, Nebraska, and then you're like, all right, he's gonna stay in that area. But I really think we got a really, really good chance to get his signature come signing day.
Millard South High School out of Omaha, Nebraska. Number 375 nationally, number 19 tight end, the number 2 player in Nebraska. So kind of hard for him, no matter what he does and puts on tape, it's gonna be hard for him to climb to be some mega recruit. But what you see on tape is a mean blocker. Holy shit. So
good blocker, play outside. Ryan Izzo. That's a good name to throw out there.
There you go.
Ryan
Great
Izzo.
comp.
Yeah.
Great comp. And sorry guys, I got y'all completely off the screen, whatever I hit, but we'll get it right next time after these highlights. But he's a beast for sure.
Yeah.
And we know Mike Norvell loves his tight end. So I think if you want to be showcased, it's an amazing way to go.
Does he remind you of anybody he had at Memphis, Jen?
No, I mean, no. Not really, because again, that comp to Ryan Izzo was too good as far as I'm concerned. So they didn't have those types of players at Memphis, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's fair. And that Ryan Izzo comp was great. Did he just fake a punt?
Yeah.
And then just catch a freaking post for 80 yards on the next play? Yeah, this dude is a freak for sure.
Yeah. The thing about him is I think he's a legitimate 6'6" too. At 6'6". Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
listed 6'6", 215.
Yeah. So that just put that weight on and continue to develop. And he's showing that he can pass catch, and he does have some ability to block on the perimeter too, and even in line. I get down and bend my knees a little bit more. He played a little too high on his blocks. But I get it because he's probably going against smaller players at being 6'6", so it's a little hard for him to get his bend in, so he's gonna have to work on that.
All righty. Well, that's
Yeah.
enough, Chase Lofton. We can go.
Yeah.
I'll pull that off. And when you get the next one loaded up, just let me know. Is there anybody in
All right.
particular you wanted to go to?
Yes,
Since you got
someone
those behind it.
Yeah, one more behind it I can throw up. You bring up is Shamar Arnaud out of Centennial High School, I believe,
That's
Roswell,
one y'all
Georgia.
both knew about that I
Yeah,
hadn't even heard yet. So we
yeah.
can definitely look at that one. I can learn something here.
Defensive back. It's ready when you're ready. Okay.
Oh, well, I guess I lied. I don't know what's going on now. I changed something in the settings, but y'all don't need to see our ugly mug for 30 seconds or whatever it is. Well, not all of our ugly mugs. We got one pretty mug up there in the top right corner. Just off the screen on the bottom of the screen there. Oh, I guess I was looking at the wrong thing completely.
Mm-hmm. He's a defensive back.
Oh, it's just how it is. That's when you got a highlight tape and you're a defensive back, you can't help the corner. The camera follows the quarterback.
Yeah.
They're always tough.
He's playing the ball in the air. Okay.
Ooh, nice play.
But yeah, he was at the camp this past weekend and tested. I think he walked away with an offer too. Of course, a lot of publications have him listed as a 3-star, whatever that means. But if you just go and look at film and try to look at where he fits into the defense, I could see
what
exactly.
Was his name again? Arnaud.
Arnaud. His first name is last name is Arnaud. Let me get the first name. Shamar Arnaud.
Shamar Arnaud. So if you haven't heard that name, you heard it here first. Shamar Arnaud picks up an offer, a DB. I'm about to get your heights and weights for him real quick.
Yeah,
he is out of Carrollton, Georgia, 6'2.5", 170-pound cornerback. So yeah, that makes sense that he would get an offer and right in the line with Patrick Surtain's height and weight, kind of what he looks for. Seeing him play a lot of corner here, I don't know. He may be a safety. By the time he gets to Florida State, just looking at the tape.
Of the corners that they've looked at so far and all the corners that I've seen, it's always they fit the same mode. They're gonna come up, they're gonna tackle, and they're gonna attack high point, play the pass, high point in the air, and their physical long arms. That's what Surtain likes. He likes 6 foot or higher. He doesn't play with he doesn't recruit a lot of smaller defensive backs. So he recruits pro bodies. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
And this particular defensive class, there aren't a ton of these giant bodies. That's why you see maybe you're finding out we're offering this Arnaud guy who's crept into the top 400 here. And that's why you see a guy like Ladarian Clarity, who's such a high priority, even though he is 6 foot. That's a product of this particular DB class. Clarity is just one of the best DBs in the nation. It doesn't matter that he's 6 foot. He could grow to be 6'2", so we don't know. There's always that potential as well. But yeah, perfect fit. We'll see how this one develops. It wouldn't surprise me one bit to see him end up a Florida State before it's all over and said and done with.
Yeah, I think he's visiting Auburn this weekend, and so who knows? But yeah, I mean.
Hey, they take the visits. I mean, the coaching staff encourages the visits, get it all out, make sure that your selection, make sure that you're sure about what you want to do. So, I mean, I have no problem with that. I believe that's the honest way to do it. So,
absolutely. I was just saying if you could make it, out of an Auburn visit, because not all other coaching staffs are as open with these players and say commit. There are some coaching staffs that don't want you to go on other visits. There are some coaching staffs that if you don't leave with a commitment, you may not have I don't, I'm not accusing. I'm only saying, I'm just saying, like, if you can get out of the Auburn visit without a commitment, I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah, that's a very good point she brought up. Certain schools, wasn't there a player we were recruiting that just went and visited Clemson and they're like, oh no, you got to commit now and no visit to Florida State. Who was that? So
I
she's
don't
absolutely
remember. That
right,
was
and
like
it
2 years
happens.
ago.
No, this was
It
like 2
happens.
days ago.
Oh, it was 2 days ago. Okay, well that's Dabo's philosophy. So
Yes.
if you commit, then you don't take any other visits. Everybody has different philosophies.
Yeah, I forget who it was. Somebody that was supposed to be here 21st to the 23rd did not make it out of their Clemson visit like Jim was talking about. And yeah, I think that's a very valid point. With this kid, I think the fact that he's from Georgia, pretty good chance we survive it. If he was from Alabama, I'd be like, yeah, he'll probably commit if he visits Auburn. So we'll see. I'm not hung up on him. It's not like somebody I'm emotionally invested in, but the staff offered him. We'll see how it goes. The staff offered somebody else, I believe, and then they committed to Alabama or something like that last week. Sorry that I don't have the names all off the top of my head, but like I said, guys are flying on the board and off the board. Is there any guys who's came off the board? We've already mentioned Zaire Addison came off the board. Who else has come off the board here the past couple of days as recruits that we had talked about previously?
I think it was Zayden Walker, Ulysses Williams. Yeah, Ulysses Williams. Yeah, those are 2 other names that came off the board that I can think up off the top of my head. Outside of that, I think it's still pretty open with some. There's some ground, some shaky ground, I guess, rumor mill with a certain lineman that's committed that hasn't decommitted yet. So, that we have as a commit, but we'll see,
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, but the board is big. Another name to throw out is Ty Haywood. And then there's a kid from Germany, I believe I mentioned in a previous show, that is still interesting. And then the 6'11" kid that the project that's the basketball player that they brought into camp. It's interesting to see segueing into him, Jazir Jackson, who was AAU teammates with Bronny James and played in OTE, the basketball, and he exhausted his basketball eligibility, but he's still eligible for college. So it'd be interesting to see. Turn over every rock.
And Chris says, just remember that none have signed anything yet. Just like I said earlier, like Zaire Addison's probably not done. Nobody's locked in, but this is the game. This is a recruiting game. Sooner than ever. I believe I was wrong the other day. I was trying to figure out whether it was at the beginning of December or the middle. Yeah, it is. It's like the first week of December, I believe December 4th or something like that is the new early signing day. So it's not a ton of time. There is really just not a ton of time. But before we get into that, I don't even want to say his name. But the young man that played with Bronny James, Ellis Williams or Elise Williams, however you say it. It was like right after we went off air, he shut his commitment down. That's another one. Georgia said, you're not taking your official visit, shut it down. And that's where we are. And also Zayden Walker. People are all freaking out. See, I told you, Randy Shannon can't do this. Guys, come on. The guy, I never had a serious bone in my body. Like, I would like to get the guy, but that was always going to be like a crazy lottery pick, like, type of deal. And, whether people want to say it's a negative of the program and stuff, it's just a lot of times with those flashy, very top 15 type guys that, demand all this attention and stuff, it's just not necessarily what the staff does. But we would start with Jim. What did you think about that freaking 7 foot dude showing up at camp and holding his own? I got a story for after Jen goes. He did good.
No, I had a question. Do y'all remember the offensive line? I mean, again, he came from England. I mean, he was about the same size. Maybe was he like a Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. This was just giving me those flashbacks. That's where I was
Menelik Watson vibes. Is that what he gave you?
Yes, it was giving me and I was just thinking, I remember that picture of him like boxing some poor guy, and I couldn't believe that this poor like 5'9" man like even stood there and I mean, wow. I wonder if he's still alive. I don't know. But look, a 6'11" guy, look, as a 6 foot tall woman, please, like, let's go.
Right up Jen's alley. And he's grown too. He's not a baby. He's like he says, already 20 years old. Like he's already been played pro basketball for 2 or 3 years. Not quite a Chris Winkie situation, but he's not a high schooler, that's for sure. But no, Menelik Watson is a good comparison. He got out there And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, so I won't reveal any kind of source or anything like that. I was just told that at the camp, that guy showed up off the street and looked better than maybe a guy who just committed somewhere else that we really wanted.
Yeah.
I heard that Zaire like literally lost every single rep that he went up against Hilson at that entire camp. Like got his ass beat, like most loss of his rep. And that dude was out there actually with not that much, time and just his ability and his frame and athleticism, much more impressive. So yeah. So who knows? That's whatever. People will say it's this and say it's that, but knowing this coaching staff, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not saying that guy's going to end up at Florida State, but what I am saying is between Buchanan, Haywood, the rest of the guys on the board, it's still going to be a top 5 offensive line class. That's coming. Yeah. You better bet it. No single one guy makes a class. And Alex Atkins, this whole staff. I think what we got, and I'm curious what y'all's overall kind of view of it was, with just kind of the social media aspects of it, all the different posts and stuff. You got a taste of the official visit weekend and what kind of the end of the month's going to look like. I feel like there's going to be a lot of hype around this program at the end of June. And when we get all those dudes on campus, it's going to be like anything else, unlike anything we've seen since we've been here. Get back to like kind of what it could have been when Willie first got here, that like Friday Night Lights thing where everybody's like, oh shit, is this going to be real? And then everything fell apart. I feel like we finally got back to that level where it's just like, this is Florida State. Like you're getting guys coming to Florida State. This is the Florida State of old. And it's just pretty much if do the coaches care about them that much to get them in here? So I know we've talked a ton. It's at 41 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm going to throw up a banner if anybody has any calls or questions. I saw somebody had asked about Justice Terry. I personally don't have any new information on him. I'm not sure if he's supposed to visit at the end of the month or not.
Yeah, he's scheduled right now. As far as I know, he's scheduled, I believe, for the 21st. He's a part of that 21st visit list for June 21st. He's out of Manchester, Georgia, currently committed to USC. But Georgia's going to turn the pressure up. That's like 40 minutes from me. So as I stated in the previous show, I'm going to go check him out to see what he looks like. As far as I know, though, the visit is still on. I don't think he's canceled anything.
Yeah, USC, man. It's like I don't even consider that he'll end up going there. Like there's no way. And Chris says he is for sure that he will definitely be here. So yeah, that USC almost wipe it off. I guess maybe that's stupid of me, but for a defensive tackle, defensive lineman of that stature to leave Georgia and go all the way out to California to play for a USC that does not play fucking defense, for a coach who does not give a shit about defense. Go ahead.
That is what that's called is they're waiting for the check to clear, and then that visit check. I mean, I get it. Dude, I'd take the money too. I don't care. Like I make commitments to 6 different schools if they were going to pay me like that.
How much would it take you, Jen? How much would they have to pay you to come take a trip to LA and commit to the USC Trojans?
Bam. I mean, you want me to switch my fandom? Is that what you're saying? Like switch fandoms?
No. I mean, I'm just saying, if you were him, I'd probably do it. I don't blame you. You're right. Like I'd take a bag to go be committed for a couple months. I mean, why not?
What? Yeah, and then whatever it is they're doing over there, that's great. But full well that this type of defense, like you said, he is not sticking with USC once he watches the season start. He will then switch back home to Georgia. I don't know why this is hard. It's true. This is a money thing. This is a USC upping, grabbing these players. And I agree with you. Pay the big stars to commit to you, only to decommit once you start playing. And then you can get other players. I get it. I get it. It makes you higher ranked. It makes you highly talked about. And then, other players who maybe aren't the 5 stars are going to say, well, look what USC's doing. Something must be going on. I absolutely agree with this PR strategy. Good for you. I agree with you. I mean, go do it.
It's part of the game. It's all part of the recruiting game. That's all.
Like it just makes sense to me. Like if I was USC, that's exactly what I would be doing, is propping up these defensive players that aren't going to stick once they watch you play defense, but other players who may not be on those levels will just fall to them, and they'll be like, well, because USC must be doing something right, and maybe they will keep one of those big fish. I doubt it, but
we shall see. Like you said, once that season gets played, and then even if they get him, he's liable to hit the portal before the season. He might see that camp and be like, "Holy shit, get me out of town." But one of the speaking of, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I think people forget USC is in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood goes by different things, and that's exactly what USC is thinking. And if y'all think I'm lying, I swear to you, I'm not. That is exactly what they're doing. This is PR. This is PR move 101. Good for you.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. One thing, going from a defensive line, not you, from freaking USC, we go to Florida State and Odell Haggins, who has been here since he played defensive line at Florida State, one of the greats. We had a 4-star defensive lineman named Ashari Charles make a visit, and he tweeted this out after his I don't even, was it official visit or unofficial? I'm not sure, but he says, Odell Haggins is a genius. Can't stop thinking about some of the things I picked up in so little time yesterday. Literally walking around, working on my hands and feet. And he is a 4-star defensive line again, out of Venice High School. So a pretty big high school. But I thought that was pretty freaking neat. It just goes to show how wrong some of these people are that run around and say this person needs to quit and that person needs to quit, regardless of the Braden Fisks and the Jared Verse and the Patrick Paytons and the Joshua Farmers and everybody else across the board. They want to talk shit about us. We get a guy to show up to camp for one day, and that's the kind of tweet he's sending out. So I just thought that was really awesome, and we're lucky to have Odell Haggins for as long as we do. Despite how aggravated people may get with some recruiting and stuff like that. So we'll see. Maybe he can bring in a Justice Terry and shut the hell out of everybody else.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the resume speaks for itself. He's been in 30 years, 31 years, and
oh shit!
I'm
shaking list, my head, but I mean, probably closer to 40.
Yeah, the list is substantial as far as who he's developed or put in the league just over the last 20 years alone. I mean, we don't even have to go back to the 90s. We can just stay in the last 20 years, and he's put names into the league and developed defensive tackles and linemen. I mean, development isn't the question.
No.
I was trying to find the exact date of when he... Oh, there we go. So he was a tight end O-line in 94 to 95. Oh, that's head coach. Playing career, 88 to 90. Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, 90. Jen. I'm going to do that math.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, for me, Odell is never going to leave unless he decides to leave. I think he comes with the office unless, again, he decides to leave. Development is not his problem. And anybody who wants to question his recruiting or how he's doing, go pony up the money for them another off the field assistant that's a hot recruiter, and go get that in there if you really want to put your money where your mouth is. Otherwise, be quiet. Odell is not going anywhere until he is ready to. And I haven't seen a reason for anybody to call for it. And let me tell you something, you call for it and it happens. The backlash from players, the publicity will be terrible for you.
Yeah.
It will be terrible for you.
Agreed.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's like, no matter what you had to do to fire, whatever, push Bobby Bowden out, regardless of how he feels about what. All right. But regardless how you feel about that, you don't get that stain. No matter how you did it, there's always going to be the person that has to grab him by the scruff of the neck, or even if it's just, Mr. Bowden, I've got to clean out your desk. Could you please, like, whoever that person is, like, you don't get that stain off of you. So yeah, if you guys, whoever it is that wants to fire Odell Haggins, you
we
march
gotta
your
stop.
ass down there and tell him he needs to go somewhere. I want to see it. I want to be there.
I think the backlash from Odell's players publicly, just imagine them getting on ESPN. This would be awful. It would be terrible. It would be such bad press. And I understand some people say not all press is bad press, right? But this would be bad. This would be, I mean, remember the hits we took with Bobby? It would be worse. I feel like these players would be louder and they would go, we knew this program was going down when they got, when they fired Bobby. It would be the same players. It'd be louder. It'd be worse. And then you'd have ones that are currently in the NFL. Like, we don't need that. Just because development isn't the it. If it's recruiting for you, hire someone bigger that can do it. That's what you can do.
Yeah, recruiting is about results, and we got the results, baby. If you don't like how it gets done, you don't like the certain type of flour Odell's using or whatever the case may be, hate it for you. You don't get gluten or gluten-free. You just get, you get grown-ass men, and that's what it's all about. So we'll go from there. I'm like at my wit's end. I think we've hit all the top guys right off the top of my mind. So as we creep up on almost an hour, guys, this is your time. Again, the numbers on the bottom of the screen. If there's anyone in particular that we forgot, or if you have a question about anything FSU football recruiting, now is the time to pick up the phone and text, comment, whatever the case. Super chat, we'll get it up there. Did I miss a super chat? Okay, so Robbie Heck Music, member for 5 months now, says, good to see you guys. God bless and go Noles. He added a comment there on his membership upgrade, so we appreciate him. We appreciate all of our members. We appreciate everybody for sticking with us as we're continuing to upgrade and work through things and try to get the best product for you guys as possible as we get closer and closer to the season. Just fun stuff. So again, if you have any questions, now's the time. Jen, is there anything from the whatever, it doesn't have to be recording whatsoever from the sports weekend that caught your eye before we get out of here?
Not really. I mean, not that we haven't already discussed. I think we already went over the baseball and the no, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to say it.
I would say let it all hang out, but I don't know what it is. As long as it's not politics, say it. Fuck
yeah.
I don't feel like it's politics. I could ask, the whole kerfuffle about Caitlin Clark being left off the Team USA basketball team. Apparently that's a huge story. It's huge. Look, as a woman, I have to be honest. I played basketball, volleyball, soccer. I feel like anything women's sports can do to get eyeballs on it would be your best shot. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's all overblown. I think even like the quote unquote snub, like that's good publicity, bad bub publicity. Like they're killing it. As long as she's showing up to play and she's participating, they are very, very lucky, and it is fun. It comes off as sour, and the people that are, whatever, complaining, want to take shots at her. That's cool. She's just gonna. She can keep that smile and keep draining buckets.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I think she handled it really well, where she said, what she said, and but I do find it weird. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, Team USA has won 7 championships in a row or something. Like, they're gonna roll through this one too. Don't you want people to watch it? That's all I'm asking.
If I ask, let me interject there. Do you want a popularity contest? Or do you want the best players? It's not a popularity contest. I don't think you can say the best.
I think if you look at it, the Terry, oh God, Diane, whatever,
Diana Taurasi.
Yes, she has the almost same numbers, and she's in the end of her career, and Caitlin's at the beginning. And I get it. I 100% get it. But this is almost the same argument the CFP said. We're picking the best. They did not pick all the best players, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
They actually left better players off than Caitlin that did
Well,
make
that's
it. There's a
fine.
26
I
point
think that's
score.
fine.
Mhm,
That's a wonderful. I think that's a great argument to make.
mhm.
But for me, if they did leave better players off, then you can't say you just pick the best players.
No, what I'm
That's
saying
where
is
I'm going from.
they left other players off that were just as good, if not better than
But
Caitlin.
really, I mean,
Yeah,
Brittany Griner's played one game.
but they don't play the same position either. She's
No,
6'9",
that's not what
so
I'm
it's a
saying.
need. Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. I 100% agree. But do
Mhm.
you need, like, you're going to roll through the games. You're going to roll no matter if you take off your third center or second center or whatever it is you're doing, right?
Mhm.
I feel like women's sports is so not watched, it's not appreciated. And I say this as a woman who has played it.
Mhm.
I feel like if you can get more people to watch it and get them excited about it,
Mhm.
then that's a good thing for
I
all
understand.
women.
I can agree with
And
that.
so for me, and again, the WNBA gets such a bad rap
Mhm.
because one, nobody watches, nobody goes, nobody pays attention. Um, it's just, and then they constantly whine about not being paid the same amount of money when they are funded by the NBA. But again, I'm not going to go there. I'm only
Mhm.
saying I feel like if you want to get away from that, if you want to do better, if you want to bring your brand up and you have something that is sparking your brand right now, you can't wait the next 4 years to put her on the
I
Olympic
get it.
stage.
I get it, but I would leave it at this, and this will be the last thing I add. If it was the men's sport and it was a rookie, which we've seen it several times, a highly ranked or touted, hyped rookie coming in, then we would say let them play
Yep.
and let them earn what they want, what they're trying to get. I'm one of those that look at it in a competitive nature of the sport. If we all play
I agree.
sports in a competitive, you just don't let someone get off just for a
But
popularity contest.
I
They have to
agree,
earn
but
it.
I agree, but people watch men's sports.
Yeah,
People don't
I
watch
get
women's.
what you're
Yep.
looking at it from an economical mindset.
Yep.
I'm looking at it from just the nature of the sport, and looking at past players in the WNBA that were just as good, if not better, their rookie year and going into their end of their careers than Caitlin. That because of what you said, economics is not
Yep.
watched. They had to play in Europe, all of those things.
Yep.
So I get you're looking at it from that point, and I can respect and I do understand. I'm just coming at it from the side of the actual game.
Look,
Let
I
her
wish
just let her
yeah.
grind. Let her get a
Like
grind, and she'll earn
I
it.
wish I could come at it from that point because
Mhm.
you can't really compare women's sports to men's sports and worry about this. I don't. It's you need to be when you have this moment. They have a
Mhm.
flash in the pan right now. What if she gets hurt? What if she doesn't? Come back in 4 years. You
Mhm.
want her on that stage. That's just how I feel again
Mhm.
as a female. But George, why don't you let me know how you feel about it?
Yeah, George, you go ahead, man. Tap in with us. Let
Yeah,
us know
I
a little
have
bit.
no feelings on it. But I will say, as far as y'all's 2 points,
Mhm.
y'all are both right. Y'all both have great
Mhm.
Yeah.
points. And to Deshawn's point, I can see that for sure.
Mhm.
But also when I watch that league, I don't have the knowledge you have to say, from my lies, she's the best player that's ever, yada yada. But maybe you're
Mhm.
right. If you go look at the stats, I can't argue that. I haven't watched it enough, but
Mhm.
that kind of is the problem. And if you're going to say, oh, well, they're going to need to do it the right way, you go earn your stripes and stuff. Well, then they
Mhm.
need to start operating as a league that way,
Mhm.
and start protecting their girl and doing everything
Mhm.
else, the way the old
That's
rules
what
are,
I'm
because they're
saying.
not. They're just leaving her out there to get fucked up every night, and nobody's got her back in these, these different situations. It's not like they're out. It's all this. This bitch just came in here and fucking everything up. They act like it's this and it, but it is her. Like it is like the numbers, everything, like the money part, the
Yeah.
economical part, that's all there. But then, also to Jen's point, as far as his side of it, Yeah, I totally get it. I don't think it's a big deal whatsoever they didn't leave the rookie out. I think if like she really made a big deal about it, if there was like really a problem on either side, they would have got together to figure it out. I think if I'm the owner of the WNBA, if I'm the CEO, I figure it out. I say even if she only plays a couple of games, we get her out here for the gimmick or whatever the case may be, because we're not the NBA. We're in like the dark ages. So it's it's like what Texas A&M did with Johnny Manziel. Like they probably could have waited a year to start Johnny Manziel or whatever the case may be is, but they got in the SEC. It's like now's the time to do it. And you know, I get it. Whatever, people don't think she's a top 20 player, this and that. I get it. She's got to go earn her stripes. But like Jim was saying,
yeah, I mean, she's a rookie. Let's be honest, she is a rookie, and that is so true. But
she's not the only rookie either, because you got Cameron Brink. You got Angel Reese, Camila Cardozo there, all tearing it up as a class.
I mean, I think, God, it's weird for me because in this age, all we hear, and I say this as a female, and I'm trying to be nice as I say it, is females whining about they want to be paid the same as men. But unfortunately for female sports, and I'm going to say this as nice as I can, people watch the men's sports. That's what brings the money. That's why you don't get paid the same. That's why. This is called economics. And if you want that, you got to bring it the way the men's sports brought it to earn it in the first place. That's what I'm going to say. When you have the viewers, when you have the eyeballs, you do it. You give the people what they want. You get paid. That's all
Dana
I'm
White,
say. So
Dana White figured that out, and that's what made the UFC so successful. There's definitely a fact. A million ways to look at it. Definitely a fun conversation, as Chris was saying. Like they're doing something right, because they got by making that choice, they've got everybody in the world discussing it. So even though she's not there, we're still talking about it. So they did all right. One thing before we get out of here, kind of ring it back to FSU football. There was a name, Derek Cooper, that came up. The guy visited Florida State. I'm like, hell yeah. You know, it's one of these guys that all of a sudden, when they see, oh shit, this guy showed up to Florida State, similar to Xavier Griffin and a couple other different guys that showed up. The schools that are high on them are like, oh, we better make them to commit. We better end this thing now. They're showing up around there. Was it Georgia he committed to? And then a day or two later, you find out, oh, nope, he is not committed. So Derek Cooper is still on the market. So a nice piece. Is he a tight end prospect, I believe, as well, or is he a defensive end? I believe he played both in high school.
Derek Cooper, running back.
Derek Cooper.
Shamana Madonna.
Sorry.
Yeah, out of Hollywood, Florida.
Yep.
Class of 26. His list, he has the who's who is his list, SEC, ACC.
Wait, class of 26 and he's already 6'1", 190?
Yeah.
Dang.
He's listed as Derek. You said Derek Cooper. Yep. I just looked it up.
I thought that was his name. Is it's the same kid that
that's it. And I think he said, you just like you said, he said he didn't make any commitments yet. But he is listed as an athlete, so he can play multiple positions.
I was thinking he was 25. That makes more sense. A lot of times they really don't know till their senior year. A lot of these guys.
Awesome.
All righty. Well, we're at 1 hour and 3 minutes. I think we've hit it all and some WNBA talk. So boom. We love you guys. We will see you guys. What's today? Today's Tuesday. So that's gonna be we'll see you back here Friday at 7 Eastern. Catch me, Chris Frazier and James Coleman tomorrow on the Voice of College Football for Den Media and Spear Addicts, respectively, as well as myself representing the Renegade Report. And that's it. Bam. And before we get out of here, Chris says the reason he's being brought up is because he may reclass. So
okay.
That would add it to it. So we'll see what happens there. But he is on the market, and we'll keep paying attention. Again, we love you guys, and we'll leave y'all with a little banner for Jen's show and a little bit of Trug Life.
Hey man, they have been too much to everybody. Let go. First off, fuck Bama in the road tide. Fuck Tuscaloosa
in every city that's close by. Bitch ass hillbilly redneck fans. Auburn almost caught y'all slacking like dress pants. Michigan trash, they ain't got a damn chance. Only Wolverine I respect is X-Man. Keen ass coach got exposed, still in plays. Damn right I'm bitter, y'all sweeter than lemonade. Texas ain't shit to rave about. The Longhorns only good at a steakhouse. Had y'all like number 3, I was like, no way. Y'all lost to Oklahoma, which means y'all just okay. And Washington not important. Y'all be some ducks acting like that's vital.